I am Geoffrey of Villehardouin. In Troy Total War, I will repeat the last battle in the last video clip with the Trojan horse or the Trojan ship, but this time 10 game turns earlier, that is just after the siege started, when the Trojan morale was higher.
Make them pay.
So here is Menelaus, our faction leader, and this is a Sparta campaign on normal difficulty. That was Demolon, and here is Odysseus.
Odysseus of Ithaca.
Odysseus of Ithaca. Agamemnon is on his way, Achilles is still in Phthia, he is trying to pacify the situation there. So back to Menelaus, and we can start the siege. So we can have again the option of the Trojan horse. This is where I got the option for the first time on game turn 115. We have to select 6 units. So that's going to be Menelaus, the Cyclops, and I will take the 2 giant units, the units of giants, and 2 of the units of axemen with triple golden chevrons and the purple tool of Hephaestus. So we're ready to start, but before I start, actually, maybe let's have a look at the gods supporting us. So there's Hera, Zeus, Ares, Athena, Aphrodite, and Hephaestus. The Trojans have +5 to morale because of buff from their leader, their commander Bremen, sorry. And Menelaus, for some reason, should have some buffs, but we don't get them. In any case, here's the Battle of Troy once again, the Siege of Troy. And this time it's going to be a little bit harder. So Bremen is leading the army of Troy now rather than Deiphobus. I can't remember the reason why. So here we're seeing again the cinematic intro. So the gates of Troy have been opened by the men who were inside the Trojan ship. They included Menelaus, Odysseus, and a few other of the heroes of the Achaeans that had survived the siege so far, many of the heroes who died. And so you see some of the Trojan units here running around, they've woken up. The gates have been opened by those who were inside the Trojan horse or Trojan ship, which you see here. So the Trojan War, the siege of Troy, would have probably happened shortly before the Bronze Age collapse. Here's Menelaus and the other units that have come out of the Trojan horse. So sometimes I'll show you the flags over the units to orient yourself to what is going on. So the battle has started. So here's Menelaus and some of the giants. They are attacking this unit. The battle has begun. The siege of Troy, the sack of Troy has begun. The Trojans are not just running away like in the previous night battle that you saw in the previous episode. Here they have higher morale. And this is the other side. We have Cyclops here and 2 of the axe units. Axemen. They're all triple golden chevroned with the buff that they got from Hephaestus' agent, the purple level buff. So Cyclops is using his giant club. Now he's going to throw a rock. He's going to throw a stone. He hasn't thrown it yet. Where is the stone? There it is. Amazing. It's a silly but nice mechanic or animation. So our men are coming through the opened gates. They couldn't have come soon enough. The fighting inside is continuing, is going on. Some Trojan chariots are charging the giants and Menelaus here. And you have to realize all my units are triple golden chevroned, and they have the tool of Hephaestus. So these are the highest level possible best units you could get. This is an ideal case scenario. The best case scenario. And we're fighting the Trojan army before attrition from the siege has set in. So finally our units are coming in. You can see them on the upper left hand corner. They're coming through the gates. Back to Menelaus and the giants here, the charioteers have rallied and have charged us once again. Joining the melee. Here's Menelaus in the center. He is fighting the chariots. And some reinforcements finally have arrived. These are the axemen that were in the Trojan horse, the Trojan ship. These are not the ones coming through the gates. So the charioteers are still not breaking. The morale is quite high. This is a very different situation than before, much more challenging. So here are coming our units through the gates. The Trojans have very strong morale. Here now we've been surrounded, we've been attacked from the back. And the AI is very clever, so it's sending one unit, you see them there, to stop the reinforcements from coming to help Menelaus. So the reinforcements are in the background, they're coming through the gates, they're running out the street. And these axemen are trying to break through. These were the axemen that were with Menelaus, one of the units of axemen that were with Menelaus. Here's again the melee with Menelaus, the giants, and the axemen that managed to get through. Menelaus is jumping up and down, crashing at the enemy soldiers. So he's fighting at center stage. We don't have very many here. And the giants are at the end of their tether, but finally our reinforcements have arrived. Now we should be able to turn the tide of battle in our favor. You see also some men there at the far end. They're also coming from behind, but they've been stopped by some Trojan units. Menelaus is still fighting on, jumping and slashing. And some of the giants come to help him, and the Cyclops and some of the axemen, and finally we've routed the Trojan units on this side. But this is not the end of the battle, like we saw last time. This is the beginning of the battle. So the Cyclops is going to throw another stone anytime. There it is. It's a funny animation. Okay, so we've turned the tide of battle here, but you can see there are more Trojan units coming. You saw some on the right. So this is just the start. Here's the situation with the flags on. You can see Menelaus and the other units there staying together to help each other and support each other. We have some more units at the far end. And here we've routed the Trojans down at the lower town. But it's time now for the men to move towards the upper town. You can see the flags. I'm giving orders, and they are now moving slowly towards the citadel, towards the upper town. And there are more men coming down from the upper town, more Trojans. The map of Troy is historically accurate, so the lower town has been sort of imaged rather than excavated. And there was indeed a lower town. It had some sort of fortification around it. It's not very clear what it was. Possibly a trench at the very least. The excavators, or the people who researched this, said there might have not been an actual wall, but just a trench. It's unclear. So here's the fighting now in one of the streets down here in the middle of the town. The Trojans have blocked this road. The This beautiful view of the moon is just amazing. So they've blocked this road and we cannot get to the citadel from down here. And they've also blocked another road, another of the streets. Down here, down the distance, you see some Trojan units. So there's more units on the other side that you see there in the distance, and they've blocked the other road. And together they're blocking access to the citadel. And you can see more units are coming from the upper town. So here, they just blocked the road. We've attacked with the Cyclops and some giants. Sorry about all this. So here's again the Cyclops. The giants, and finally some reinforcements have arrived. And more men are coming to help them. So a lot of the men with Menelaus are now heading this way. The Cyclops is down to half health. The two units of the giants are extremely depleted by now, but finally we managed to break the resistance on this side. There's still a little bit of resistance, but we're breaking through. Menelaus is now here, you can see the Cyclops. And here's the other street. There's a deadlock here, we can't make a headway, but having broken through the other side, we're going to get reinforcements. Now this Trojan units will be hit in the back. The Trojans seem to be more determined on this side. But you see already the giants are running fast. They're going to flank these units. They are spearheading our attack. Okay, that was enough to scare them off. And so the Trojans now are starting to panic on this side, and they are running from combat. They're living while they can. We don't hear that so much in this battle. The morale of the Trojans is much, much better. So already you can tell the battle is tougher, and we're only halfway through. The scenery, by the way, is fantastic. And this is a fairly good representation of Troy. You know, it's there's an effort to present Troy as the excavation showed, and this part certainly is very realistic. With this is the part that Sleeman excavated, you know, with the walls of Troy on top of this granite or whatever, the stone sort of outcrop. This was the upper town, the citadel, where the palaces were and the temples. So you can see here how hard it was to break this Trojan unit. They were down to just a few men before they broke, and they had been fighting against the Cyclops, who instilled some terror. So here's again another beautiful view of the walls as Menelaus is entering the citadel. Here's Menelaus. So originally it was thought this was all of Troy was this when it was first discovered, and people were surprised that Troy was so small, but later the lower town was discovered as well. So there are some archers here, and they were shooting at a man, and turning around this corner, I almost got a shock. There are so many archers in the palace plaza with the two enemy commanders. And this unit of spearmen is extremely depleted, it's less than half strength. But it's an excellent unit, like all the units that are fighting under Menelaus. They are the best units you can get, and so they managed to break the archers. They have very good armor, they're very well armored. They have all the buffs and triple golden chevrons and everything, so they're doing quite well. But something happened here, I'm not sure what. I presume the enemy commanders threw some spears or something, and the heavy spears managed to kill a couple of men. But finally, reinforcements have arrived. Once again, there are some faster runners or chargers. Here's also Menelaus on the left. They just managed to break these archers, and finally victory. The enemy is broken. Everyone is broken. So the Trojan units in the Palace Plaza have just routed. This is the opposite of what would have happened in Medieval 2. They would have actually fought to death at the plaza. And I'm not sure what's most historically correct. I think most historically correct would have been a very long and tough fighting with the walls. It would have gone on for hours. The walls wouldn't just fall in so easily. But since the walls fall so easily in Total War games, maybe there should have been more fighting, higher morale in the town itself. So we're running down the enemy here. We've also blocked this road. You see some axemen, and the Trojans are trying to run through the axemen, and some of them will manage to run through actually. Eventually all of them will run through, those who don't get caught and taken prisoner. And this view of Troy is just, I think it looks glorious, glorious. Can you imagine? This is what it would have looked like. It's just amazing. It would have probably been, during the siege, it would have probably been more densely inhabited. There would have been small sort of houses built everywhere and so on. But at some point, it would have looked like that. This is based on archaeological records. I think it's fairly accurate. And it would have looked like that at some point during the late Bronze Age, you know, close to the time of the siege of the Trojan War.
The enemy stronghold will soon fall to you.
The walls of the citadel look realistic. They, for the most part, they were made of heavy stone, but the tops of the ramparts were made from some other materials, slightly softer, and so it was less strong, but still strong enough to withstand a siege. They were quite high. I can't remember how high, but something of the order of 6-7 meters high, so about as shown there. And I'd say it looks amazing. This modeling of Troy is just fantastic. And I also had a look at the map, the model of Mycenae, and it's very accurate. I have visited Mycenae, I've walked around, and not just the city plan and the way it's been modeled, but even the mountains and the hills around it and the distant mountains and everything. It's very realistic the way Mycenae is portrayed in the game.
We're leaving while we still can.
So here's Menelaus, a great hero, in the Palace Plaza, in front of the palace, in the beautiful moonlight. Menelaus of the loud war cry. Here's the glorious looking palace. I think I'll stop the battle here. Let's just have another quick look at Menelaus and the beautiful scenery.
We've routed them.
Okay. Victory! So here are the results. You see some of the units became very depleted. You see them on the left. And they were triple golden chevroned, many of them, most of them with a purple tool of Hephaestus. So extremely good units. The Menelaus had 27 skills, so that's about as good as it gets. And it was still a very tough fight. So if you want a fun siege, fight straight away. Don't wait for 10 game turns.
A welcome boost.
So we've got some kind of boost on happiness and so on. There's attrition. A negative diplomacy modifier against the Trojans, although they're probably nearly dead, destroyed by now. I think Dardania was still going, just Dardania. And I'm not going to show you the whole campaign, but this campaign finished. And I'm going to show you the end of the campaign so that you see the victory cinematic animation. So Lycia was an antagonist, and that's the last settlement left to Lycia, and once we take it, it will be campaign victory.
Don't falter now. Victory awaits.
So auto-resolved. And we can see the end of the campaign.
We shall settle here.
Here it is. The judgment of Paris. Paris sailing away with Helen of Sparta. Here's Agamemnon with Menelaus and Achilles and Odysseus next to them making a deal. Here is the army, the Achaeans, and their ships about to sail out of Aulis. And here presumably they have arrived in Troy and they are fighting the Trojans. So nicely made. It's just amazing. And I guess here they're celebrating some victory. And I guess this is the sack of Troy. Amazing. Troy is in flames. It's burning. Here is King Priam lamenting in grief. And here's Agamemnon hailed as a victor. Wow. Fantastic, fantastic animation, fantastic job from Creative Assembly. So well done. Okay, so here's some kind of summary of the campaign. This is what you get when the campaign ends. All the various events, the settlements, and the commandments, and everything that happened, a blow-by-blow thing. And here you can see how the campaign grew and developed, how you started. Our color is dull brown. Let me move them up a little bit so we can see Sparta. This is the beginning of the campaign. You see the dull brown at the bottom. And the various factions are expanding. We're expanding on the map. We've conquered the Troad. And we're about to take Troy now. We're campaigning in Lycia down at the bottom. It was a fantastic campaign. I'll keep playing Troy Total War. It's a fantastic game. There's a lot of variability with the different factions, and I may show you another campaign in the near future. Thank you for watching.
Are we mere playthings of the gods?